surprising to me, although I guess it's not surprising to everyone else. Dillon Danis is out of ADCC for 2019, and the reason why is not clear at all. So I was first made aware of this on a Facebook post that was put up by Fight to Win, so you can see this right here. And it says Dillon Danis is out of ADCC 2019, hashtag bye Felicia, hashtag shocker. Just a little heads up. So ADCC, they are their own organization. Fight to Win is its own organization, but the guy who runs Fight to Win, Seth Daniels, was brought in to run the production of ADCC. So even though Fight to Win and ADCC are separate events, there's a pretty big intermingling here where the guy who runs Fight to Win is also running ADCC. So Seth Daniels was responsible for making sure this event is put together and the production goes well. And so it's clear that he was working with Dillon Danis on this. And in him saying bye Felicia and shocker, it sounds as though he definitely had some issues working with Dillon. What those issues are, it's not clear. No, I think what's kind of odd about this, I mean, first off with Seth's the kind of guy he's a pretty fiery guy. He tells you what he thinks. I guess some people would say that he's real in that way, where if he's feeling a certain way, he's not going to like sugarcoat it. He'll tell you exactly what he's thinking. Now, with that being said, though it's clear that he has an issue with Dillon Danis, he isn't actually explaining what the issue is. Some people are saying that Dillon pulled out. I don't know whether this is an issue of Dillon pulling out or of ADCC kicking him out. One of the things that he talked about on the previous podcast is that some of the guys he doesn't like to work with for Fight to Win or for that Fight to Win show are guys like Dillon and guys like AJ, just because they can be hard to deal with, especially on the financial side. So maybe Dillon waited until the last second and wanted more money, and that's why he got kicked out. Maybe Dillon just decided that he didn't want to compete. Maybe Dillon got injured. It's not clear at all what happened here. And even in the article from Flow Grappling, and again, Flow Grappling would have as much information as anyone else because they're the ones who are going to be streaming this event. So they have the best media coverage here. I mean, this is a six-line article here. It says, another disappointing turn in events. It's been revealed that 99-kilogram athlete Dillon Danis has pulled out of ADCC. No word as to why the Unity Jiu-Jitsu athlete is unable to compete or who the replacement will be. And they'll update accordingly when the news arrives. And then the 99-kilogram division still remains stacked. So if we look at what that division is set at now, there are guys like Pertu Teppanen, Tim Spriggs, Paulo Jose Barana, Miraz Abdoyan, Gordon Ryan, who won at 88 kilograms last year, Tex Johnson, Ben Hodgkinson, Vinny Magalhaes, Patrick Gaudio, Lucas Barbosa, Jackson Souza, Paul Ardillo, Felipe Andrew, Vinicius Ferreira, James Puopolo, and I think it says Dan Martinez down there. Yeah, Dan Martinez. So that's who we would have been up against. I'm seeing some people say online that Dillon just backed out because he was scared. He didn't feel like he had much of a chance there. I don't think Dillon was going to win this, but from what we've seen, at least so far, he did do a few things with Flow Grappling where he was showing them some glimpses into his training. Actually looked really good in those. Had some roles with some other guys who were just high-level black belts. So he was rolling with Eddie Cummings, looked pretty good in that role. And granted, Cummings is a smaller guy. Was rolling with another ADCC competitor, and Dante Leon looked pretty good in there as well. So he was looking sharp. And even if you try to say, well, maybe it's because he was up a couple weight classes, which is true. He possibly could have made 77 kilograms. I think 88 kilograms would have been the right weight class for him. But he has a teammate, Morello Santana, who's at 88 kilograms. So he ended up having to move up to 99. But when you look at the actual opponents here, this guy, Dillon Danis, this is a guy who actually did compete the last time around at ADCC in 2017. And the guys who are favored at his weight class, I mean, obviously the big favorite here is Gordon Ryan, and he faced Gordon Ryan in the first round back in 2017. And that match went all 15 minutes. He didn't get finished. You can see that right here. So rough decision, 15 minutes. So if you're saying he's scared, he went against the guy who was the favorite last time around. So we know that he's willing to take a match with Gordon Ryan because he's already done it. But then even in the absolute division, which is an open weight division, which he did last time around, wins his first match against this Ozawa guy who I think Ozawa is probably around that 99 kilogram range. He might actually be in over 99 kilograms. But the guy he faced next, Muhammad Ali, is definitely over 99 kilograms. He's competing this year in the over 99 kilograms. So to me, the argument that Dillon Danis was backing out because he was afraid of like the bigger opponents, it just doesn't seem to bear. It just doesn't really seem to be like based in reality, based off of some of the other competition he's competed in. So to me, what I'd like to hear and what I'd like to see is an actual explanation of why he's not competing. Was he injured? Was it a last second injury thing? Was there some sort of contract issue that came into play? Maybe Bellator was like, hey, actually, you know what, come to think of it, we don't want you competing. I don't see why Bellator would not want him in ADCC. Yes, it's unlikely that he's going to win. And so therefore, if he's going to go around spouting out about how he's like the best jiu-jitsu guy in the world and then he loses at ADCC, it might be tougher to do. But this is a guy who just kind of plays his character despite the facts. It's not like he's ever won a black belt world title before, so he's made these claims before winning a black belt world title. If he loses at ADCC, I mean, hell, last time around in 2017, like this was the best he did at ADCC, was losing in the quarterfinals in the absolute, lost in the first round at his weight class. So I just don't see the reason why Dillon Danis would just back out voluntarily because he didn't want to do it. I don't know that I buy that being the case. I think there's something deeper here. But Dillon hasn't said anything. Seth has made it clear that he was unhappy with having to work with Dillon Danis, but he hasn't really made it clear exactly why either. So I think at this point, we're just going to have to wait and see if the details ever do come out. We'd definitely be interested in hearing them, but this is unfortunate for ADCC. It doesn't make the 99 kilogram division any better for him to be out of it. Definitely doesn't make it any better to watch. Does it really hurt ADCC all that much? I don't think there's anyone who is going to purchase full grappling to see ADCC who is now like, oh, well, shit, Dillon Danis isn't in it at 99 kilograms. I'm not going to do it anymore. I think if you wanted to see ADCC before, you still want to see it now. But it was something I was looking forward to seeing. I wanted to see how Dillon would do at 99 kilograms. I wanted to see how he would do in absolute if he ended up going to the absolute. Dillon's one of those guys where he's such an obnoxious character that people get really upset about him. And so it's one of those things where it's like if he loses, yes, so what? But if he wins, you know that with him winning, people are just going to like lose their minds. And it's kind of funny in that way. Sort of like Colby Covington in a way where when Colby Covington wins in MMA, people just lose their minds. Dillon Danis is starting to like get that same way in the grappling community. So being able to watch a guy where if for no other reason than good jiu-jitsu, and he does have good jiu-jitsu, but if for no other reason than just to know that depending on what happens in this match you're watching, people could either just like be pouring it on him or they could just like have to shut up and be like, oh shit, well, Dillon just beat a world-class guy. I kind of have to give it to him. I think that would have been a cool thing to have, and it was something I was looking forward to, and unfortunately it's not going to happen anymore. But hopefully he just hasn't pissed him off so much where next time this comes around 21-21, they don't want to have him back. So again, we'll have to see what the details are and see if it leads to him not being back at ADCC. And if he's not back at ADCC, I don't know where he would compete at jiu-jitsu. He's at a point now where it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for him to do the IBJJF thing and pay to compete. I think he's at a point where it makes sense for him to get paid to compete. So then does Polaris bring him in occasionally? Does Submission Underground bring him in? Like it's just not clear what space he's going to have to compete in jiu-jitsu if a place like ADCC isn't working out for him. So we'll wait for the facts to come in. Hopefully they come in sometime soon. At that point, I'll either do another video on it or I'll just talk about it in the podcast of that week. But just an unfortunate thing to see. Hopefully there aren't any other dropouts between now and Friday when the brackets are announced. Then hopefully Saturday and Sunday go through smoothly.